As my example for audio recording and editing, I've selected a tale from Heather Forrest's Wisdom Tales about a Chinese poet and philosopher. Let me try recording an excerpt now. I'm purposefully going to make some mistakes. To record, click on the red record button. Here goes. There once was a Chinese poet and writer, and philosopher. One day, as he lay comfortably in his bed, he dreamed that he was a butterfly dancing from one flower to another. When you are finished, click on the stop button. That's the yellow button up here. Okay, I made some mistakes and they need to be edited out. But the first thing I want to do is reduce the background noise on this. Noise reduction is the first thing you need to pay attention to when audio editing, especially when you are producing for an organization that expects professional quality. Now I have my air conditioning in the background and that's causing a lot of the noise. I can show you what noise looks like by using the zoom in tool. This is the magnifier icon with the plus sign in it. And if you click on it, it makes the timeline bigger. See the noise here? The line's a bit jaggy, which is what's telling me it's noisy. Now, I'm going to click on the zoom out tool to see more of the timeline. The first thing you want to do when you're editing is this noise reduction, and it's considered an effect. So the effect menu is up here. You select a portion of the track where you're not speaking, like right here. This will be our sample for noise reduction. Once it's selected, go to Effect, Noise Removal. I'm going to take a profile of what I just selected. So I click on Get Noise Profile. But now I want Audacity to apply that profile to my entire track. So I select the entire track by clicking over here, then going back to Effect and down again to Noise Removal. Now these are pretty standard settings for noise reduction, and there's quite a bit of noise, so I'm going to reduce it by around 32 decibels. These other settings are pretty standard, so I'm going to leave them alone. Make certain that Remove Noise is selected and then click OK. Let's take a listen. There once was a Chinese poet. Okay, sounds better, but I made some mistakes, so I'm going to want to take them out. Let's get rid of that coughing in the beginning. To do that, I think it's right here. Yes. I'll highlight the section and press play to make sure it's the one I want to edit out. In order to make a smooth edit without a clicking or a popping noise, I'm going to use a cool tool called the Z key. The Z key stands for Zero Crossing Cut. The reason you hear those clicks at edit points is that the edit was made somewhere up in the sound wave that's not at a 0 point. That is a point where there is no audio. So by using the Z key as a tool, you don't have to mess with fine-tuning each cut. Audacity will do it for you. As you press the Z key, click on your scissors and the clicks are gone, along with that nasty cough. Let's see what it sounds like now. There once was a Chinese poet and philosopher. One day, as he lay comfortably in his bed, better. But there's another problem. I have too many pauses and I want to tighten them up. Like here and also over here. So again, I'm going to press my Z key so that you won't hear clicks when I edit. And while I'm pressing my Z key, I'll click on the scissors. See, it's gone. And I'll do the same thing over here for this long pause. Well, I also have one last mistake to take out, and that was when I said, and philosopher. I made that mistake, so I'm going to have to zoom in on my timeline to really hear it. Let's see if we can give it a listen. Chinese poet and writer. And philosopher. Okay, so this is where I want it because that starts and philosopher. Yes, that's good. So a mistake happened here. Yeah, so we know we don't want this. So I'll press my Z key and then I'll press my scissors and it'll be gone. I still have to edit over here because poet and writer. So and writer was right in about here, but I'm going to have to go in even more. So let's see. Click the little time. Poet and writer. Poet and writer. And writer ends about there. So I'm going to take a shot at this. And there we go. Of course, you'd listen to the whole thing again to make sure you didn't clip any audio. But for the sake of time, let's assume I got those edits right. There's still one more thing I want to change. The last couple of words were from one flower to another, but I want to change to another to the next. So it would be from one flower to the next. I'll need to record that. So to do that, I'll put my cursor somewhere in front of where I want the new audio to be. Mute this track by clicking on the mute button so that it doesn't interfere with my recording. When I click record, automatically a new track will be created. Here goes. To the next. And click my stop button. You can see the original track and this new part right under. I'll select this area in which there is silence. Do you remember why I'm doing this? It's to sample the noise in the background and remove as much as possible before I edit this new audio back into the original track. Go to Effect, Noise Removal, Get Noise Profile, and that sampled it. Then select the entire track by clicking over here and go back to Effect, Noise Removal, and I'll remove it a little bit more. Click OK. To another. Okay, that's where I want to go and insert this. I'm going to take only the part I need down here. Click on copy and then put it right here and click on paste. To the next. Good. Now it works. There once was a Chinese poet and philosopher. One day, as he lay comfortably in his bed, he dreamed that he was a butterfly dancing from one flower to the next. I still could improve a couple of things, like I hit a little heavy on and philosopher, but that's going to be fixed in the mix, so to speak. If you find that some of your audio is spiking, you can use compression. That's also under the Effect menu. Compression allows you to reduce the highs without affecting the lows. To do this, go to Effect, Compressor. I'll click OK. There. You can't see much of a difference with my track because I didn't have any spikes to deal with. One last task for this tutorial is amplification. Often you find that you would like to increase the amplification just a bit. Volume is represented by the height of the wave. You can increase your input volume by moving the microphone bar over to the right. If that is not enough, you can go to Effect, Amplify, and I can amplify it a little bit. I'll amplify it by about 1. Allow clipping. There you go. That's a little bit more. In this tutorial, you learned how to do a number of audio editing tasks using the powerful editing tool Audacity. You learned about the tasks of recording, noise reduction, basic editing, compression, adding a new part in, and amplification, plus some handy tools to make your life easier, like the Z key to avoid the clicks and the pops at edit points, and the scissors to make basic edits. In tutorial number 3, I will take the edited narration that we've been working on here and begin to mix audio and music and sound effects on multiple tracks. Before moving on to tutorial 3, I suggest that you first put into action what you just learned in this tutorial. You could practice recording the first few lines of a folk tale or personal tale. Make a few intentional mistakes and then try editing. After that, you'll be ready to tackle audio mixing in tutorial number 3.